The 18th Emergency by Betsy Byers, chapter number 7. Mouse was lying on the sofa watching a cartoon. It was a kind of old cartoon that he particularly disliked. The ones in which boxes of soap powder and tubes of toothpaste dance on little legs. But he kept watching. It was 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and school had been over for 30 minutes. Mouse had been lying on the sofa since then, imagining Marv Hammerman standing outside school waiting for him. He knew exactly how Hammerman would look, relaxed, watchful, his hair flowing, his hands hooked into his back jeans pockets. His eyes bright, his face expressionless. Mouse had not been able to get the picture out of his mind. He watched some matches singing, "I don't want to set the world on fire," in voices, and then there was a knock on the door. Mouse got up so quickly that he knocked a glass onto the floor. He walked silently into the middle of the room to see if the door was locked. It wasn't. The knock came again. Mouse waited, wondering if he should try to climb out of the fire escape and hide. He imagined the door bursting open and Hammerman standing there, filling the doorway. There was another knock. "Hey, Mouse, you in there?" It was Ezzy, and Mouse called quickly, "Yeah, come on in." He went back and picked up the glass and the 2 ice cubes that had spilled onto the rug. "How are you feeling?" "All right." "Hammerman was looking for you after school." Mouse moistened his lips. "He told me to meet him, but I was sick. They made me go home." "The boy in the black sweatshirt, you know which one he is?" "Yeah." "Well, him and Hammerman came over to me after school." "What did they say?" "Hammerman just said, 'Where's your buddy?'" "Tell me every word, Ez. Don't leave out a thing." "That was every word. Where's your buddy?" "So, what did you say? Did he tell me I had to go home sick?" "Yeah." What did he say to that?" Mouse had the briefest of hope that his having to go home sick might cause some sympathy from Hammerman. He didn't really say anything, but the boy in the black sweatshirt said, "Yeah, scared sick," and sort of smiled like this. "What else?" "That was the whole conversation, Mouse. First he said, 'Where's your buddy?' Then I said he had to go home, he was sick. Then the boy in the black sweatshirt, I found out his name was Peach. He said, 'Never mind, I remember it,'" Mouse said quickly. "Well, you were the one who wanted to hear it." "Once. I wanted to hear it once." He sat down on the sofa. On the television screen, a bottle of cough syrup was dancing with a bottle of cold tablets. And every time the bottle of cold tablets did a fancy step, the stopper would come off, and the tablets would bounce up in the air and then back into the bottle. "Turn that thing off, will you?" said Mouse. Ezzy paused in front of the television to imitate the bottle of cold tablets. "Hey, look at this, Mouse!" Mouse glanced at him, and then back to the table. "Said turn that thing off." Reluctantly, Ezzy stopped dancing, turned off the television, and said to Mouse in a low voice, "Your problem is that you have a thing about being hit. I don't know what it is." So Mouse said, "Well, I just hate to be hit, or hurt in any way especially. When I know it's coming, I just don't like it. I just hate to be hurt. It's one of my personal peculiarities, Ez, and somehow I think that it makes people want to hit me. It's strange. Listen, no one wants to get clobbered. Not as bad as me. Sure, it's the same with everybody. I just wish you'd been in the hall with me that first day, Ezzy, and seen the look in Hammerman's eyes." He broke off. He didn't know why he had said it. It was the moment he wanted most to forget. He added quickly, "Then you wouldn't be so..." "Come on, let's go and play basketball," Ezzy interrupted. "I just don't feel like it." Mouse wanted to get the conversation around how unfortunate and unfair his plight was. "Come on, will you? You can't ruin your whole life just because of Hammerman. Besides, if he shows up, you can just go in the grocery store and pretend to be buying something." He paused and then added with a smile, "Band-aids." Mouse got slowly to his feet. "Don't feel like doing anything." If he had a pencil handy, he would have drawn an arrow to himself and written on the words, "Fragile. Do not bend, fold, or mutilate." "Come on." All right. Reluctantly, Mouse followed Ezzy out of the door, and they went down the stairs together. Once outside, Ezzy ran ahead eagerly and turned into the alley by the bakery. "Come on, will you?" He ran to the paved area behind the store where the basketball hoop had been put up at the back of the grocery store. Ezzy ran over to where Dick Fellaini was idly dribbling the ball, shouted, "Hey, Fellaini!" He begged for the ball with his hands, waving agilely around the pavement, eluding imaginary guards. "Fellaini! Fellaini! I'm open!" he cried again, and he was indeed open now, and he could make the perfect layup shot. Ezzy had every move of the basketball player down perfectly. He could execute those high jump shots. He could fake, pivot, and go on for a hook shot. He could make the best looking free throws of anybody. He could dribble so close to the ground, the ball seemed to be rolling. The only thing he couldn't do was get the ball into the basket. He ran up to the net. "Hey, Fellaini, the ball! Give me the ball! Give it! Give it! Give it!" Fellaini fed him the ball, and Ezzy went up in a graceful arc, threw the ball with one hand, and watched it bounce off the rim of the basket. Fellaini got the ball from the doorway of the grocery store, where it rolled, and began to dribble again. "Hey, Fellaini, the ball! Pass it open! I'm here! I'm free!" Ezzy spun round now, leaped into the air and caught the ball. Then, in a spectacular move, he managed to get the ball off before his feet touched the ground. The ball was about a foot short of the basket, and it bounced to where Mouse was standing. Mouse ignored it and let it roll. Then Mouse walked over and sat down by the grocery shop. Garbage Dog was there in the doorway, and when he saw Mouse, he came over. "Hey, how are you doing, boy?" Mouse rubbed Garbage Dog behind the ears. "How are you today?" Mouse really liked this dog. He had never realised how much he liked him until this moment. He thought that Garbage Dog was the kind of animal that never actually changed in any way, just revealed new aspects of his personality from time to time. Like the event of last summer, Mouse thought about that as he continued to scratch Garbage Dog behind the ears. Mouse and Ezzy had been petting Garbage Dog that day. This had been in August, and while they were just sitting there patting him, Ezzy had noticed that Dog's mouth was slightly open. He had said there, "Hey, Mouse, what's old GD got in his mouth?" Mouse had bent over and looked. Garbage Dog had a long hair that hung over his mouth a little. I can't see. Ezzy had reached out and lifted the dog's lip by his long hair. "What is it? Can you see now?" "No." "Well, let's get his mouth open. This is driving me crazy." They had struggled to open Garbage Dog's mouth, while the dog sat there looking beyond them in the back of the dry cleaners. "Help me, Mouse. I don't think I can do this all by myself." "I am helping. He just doesn't want to open his mouth, though. That's obvious. You can't just force..." "Yes, you can. There's a spot that if you press, it's behind the back of the jaw somewhere, and this spot makes a dog's mouth spring open. I've seen a lady in my apartment give her dog worm pills this way. Wait a minute, this might be it." Ezzy pressed on both sides of Garbage Dog's face, and abruptly his mouth opened. A small green turtle fell out onto the pavement. Mouse and Ezzy had looked at it for a moment without speaking. Then Ezzy said in a wondering voice, "Am I going crazy? Or is that a turtle?" "It's a turtle." "But how could that be? Where would you get a turtle from round here?" "Out of somebody's turtle bowl, I suppose." "Let me see that." Ezzy had picked up the turtle and looked at it, turning it over in his hand. "This is a real living turtle." "I know. But how could that be? How could such a thing like this be?" "I don't know." "It's like Twilight Zone, Mouse. Do you understand what has happened? Garbage Dog has come strolling up with a living, breathing turtle in his mouth." They had sat there with Garbage Dog between them for a long time that afternoon, talking about the turtle and about the strangeness of it. Ezzy kept saying over and over, "It's a living, breathing turtle. This turtle is living and breathing." Mouse kept saying, I know. Finally, they had argued a little about which one of them owned the turtle, and they had agreed that it belonged to Ezzy, because he had noticed it first. Later that evening, Ezzy had sold the turtle to a girl in his apartment building for $25. For weeks after, Ezzy never pressed Garbage Dog without checking his mouth, the way that other people check the coin return slots in telephone booths. Now, Ezzy was guarding Dick Fellaini, waving his hands in Fellaini's face, trying to knock the ball out from his hands. Suddenly, Ezzy was successful. He had the ball, bounced it once, whirled around and away from the basket. He lifted his arm in a beautiful shot. That missed. Fellaini caught the rebound and shot, and then, with a forward dart, Ezzy scooped up the ball and dribbled over to Mouse. "Hey, Mousey boy." Ezzy threw the ball to Mouse, and Mouse tossed it back without enthusiasm. "Oh, come on," Ezzy urged. "In a minute," Mouse had said. He did not feel like any physical activity. All his strength had to be saved. If he wasted his life force frivolously in games, he thought, that might not be enough to survive. Mouse! Ezzy threw him the ball again. This time Mouse was caught off guard, thinking about Hammerman, and the ball landed hard in his stomach. He got to his feet quickly, holding the ball against him. Watch what you're doing, will you? He had said. He shifted the ball to his hip. I'm sorry, Yeah, you're sorry, all right. Come on, Mouse. Mouse stood there with the ball, looking at Ezzy as if he was seeing him for the first time. Dick Flaney, who was waiting beneath the basket, came walking over, shaking the air out of his eyes. Hey, what's up, Mouse? Nothing, Ezzy said. Come on, Mouse, come on. Mouse hesitated. Ezzy was standing with his arm held out for the ball. Come on, Mouse, give me the ball, let's play. Mouse pulled the ball back and fired it at Ezzy. He threw hard, aiming for Ezzy's stomach. He wanted to crumple Ezzy, to drop him to the pavement. Take the ball, he had said. Ezzy drew back instinctively. The ball missed his stomach, struck him on the hand, and then bounced over to Dick Flaney. Flaney took the ball, dribbled to the basket, and threw it in. He caught the rebound and made another basket. Ezzy said, You didn't have to hit my sore finger, in a flat, angry voice. What sore finger? That one. Boy, that really is a sore finger, Ezzy. I'm sure some sore fingernail, a hangnail. Ezzy put his finger in his mouth to ease the pain. All the while he was looking at Mouse, and Mouse was waiting. Then Ezzy took his finger out of his mouth and looked at it. Mouse thought then that Ezzy was going to say something funny about his finger, to try and make him laugh. Instead, Ezzy turned and ran quickly to where Dick Flaney was lining up for a free throw. Ezzy leaped agilely in the air, trying to intercept the ball, and then he watched while Flaney made the rebound. Hey, Flaney, give me the ball, he cried, spinning around. Give the ball, I'm open. Yeah, Flaney, give me the ball so we can miss again, Mouse had shouted. He waited to see if Ezzy was going to answer, to swap insults with him. Ezzy ignored him. Flaney, give me the ball, I'm open, give me the ball. Mouse turned and walked towards the alley. He glanced back once, saw Ezzy dribbling in the opposite direction, and then he kept going. He walked slowly, kicking a bottle cap ahead of him. To get his mind off how bad he had felt, he tried to think of another emergency. He couldn't think of anything. He went slowly over the list of the world's greatest dangers. Tornadoes, earthquakes, flies, the piranha. And behind him, he heard Ezzy call again, Flaney, give me the ball, I'm open, give me the ball. He kept going. Cyclones, the coral snake. Then he came to sharks. And he stopped. Emergency 16. Sudden appearance in your swimming area of sharks. Ezzy had once read the way to handle the emergency in a comic book. You simply relax your body and you play dead. Sharks are bored by dead bodies. This solution left Mouse dissatisfied. Ezzy had really read that in some comic book, but it was the most unsatisfactory advice Mouse could think of. Play dead? Impossible. It seemed to him suddenly that what most emergency measures amounted to was doing whatever was most unnatural. If it was natural to start screaming, survival called for keeping perfectly quiet. If it was natural to run, the best thing to do was to stand still. Whatever was the hardest, that was what you had to do sometimes. The hardest thing of all, it seemed to him, was not running. He tried to imagine him and Ezzy in the ocean playing dead while the curious sharks swam around them. It'll work, it will tell. I mean, honestly, it will work. Ezzy would be muttering out the side of his mouth. It worked for Popeye, didn't it? Mouse thought for a moment longer. He imagined the sharks moving away and he and Ezzy floating alone in the ocean. I told you nothing had happened, Ezzy would say, smiling a little. But somehow this did not make sense to Mouse, and it didn't make him feel any better. Emergency 17. Visit of a cobra. When this happens, as he said, you stop whatever you are doing at once and begin to make a smooth, rhythmic body motions, which will start to hypnotise the snake. He remembered that Ezzy had once shown him exactly how these movements should be done. Like this, Mouse, like this. Look, watch, see. I don't think those movements would hypnotise a cobra. Well, I know a boy who hypnotised a cobra in the zoo like this, as he had said, stopping the movements. And if you don't believe me, his name was Albert Watts. Mouse sighed. He kicked the bottle cap into the gutter. Anyway, he thought, life and death struggles with cobras and sharks and lions seem less likely every day. He heard a noise behind him, and he looked around and saw Garbage Dog following on his short legs. Good boy, he cried. He had never been so glad to see anybody. Come on, you want something to eat? Go on, come to my house. At the stairs to the apartment, Garbage Dog hesitated, and Mouse drew him quickly forward. Come on, boy. Slowly, with Mouse urging him along, Garbage Dog began to take the steps one at a time. Chapter 7 of the 18th Emergency.